Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing today? Hope everyone's doing well today. Just going back to the Buhari situation. As you all know, PMB is no more. Today's a public holiday in Nigeria, and that was done in line with tradition, in line with custom. When the president goes, uh, meaning departs from life, they are celebrated, right? They're celebrated. What is going on with this Buhari situation? A lot is going on. I'm hearing so many things. People are saying, is it the real Buhari or is it Jibrin? And I feel it's disrespectful. People are telling me, no, forget about that. You don't understand. You're not on ground. This man showed us Pepe. This man showed us Pepe in Nigeria. Fuel prices went up. Please, guys, click on the likes. Please click on the likes as you're joining. Thanks for joining me. Please click on the likes and please share the room to as many people as possible. So back to Buhari. Today's public holiday in Nigeria, and it's just mixed. A lot of the things I'm seeing online are negative. So for those of you who don't know, timeline of President or past President Muhammadu Buhari was born December 1942 in Katsina State, Daura, Katsina State. He was the 23rd member of his family. He was the 23rd child of his family. He lost his father at a young age. He was raised by his mom, was educated at Katsina Provincial Secondary School and trained at Nigerian Military Training College in 1962. He later went to Mons Officer Cadet School in the UK and the US Army War College. So from a very young age, he wanted to become, a soldier. So he served in the Nigeria Civil War, a very controversial piece, as there's a lot of criticism in the way he handled things. But he served in the Nigerian Civil War in 1960s, from 1967 to 1970, commanding troops in the First Division. He rose through the ranks and became military governor of the Northeastern State in 1975. He was later appointed Federal Commissioner for Petroleum and Natural Resources under General Olusegun Obasanjo. He was military head of state from 1983 to 1985. He came to power via a military coup in December 1983. He overthrew the then democratically elected President Shehu Shagari in 1983. He launched the war against indiscipline. Do you guys remember the war against indiscipline? You might not remember it, but this was an initiative that the Buhari administration put out there to promote civic order and anti-corruption. So a lot of stuff around anti-corruption and things about queuing and all the things that we were not doing properly in Nigeria. I was trying to put some kind of order and discipline. But his regime was marked by human rights abuses, and that is where the initial criticisms came about Buhari in terms of the human rights abuses. So what am I talking about? Detention without trial. So people were detained, journalists were detained without trial. Um, Press censorship, people will talk. He will not allow them to talk. He will not allow them to say their mind. Bear in mind, it was a military era then. So it wasn't the only military head of state that was doing this. But his was particularly kind of like brutal, according to like reports. So press were not allowed to speak their minds, and there was a lot of detention going on. He also had something called Decree 4, which criminalized media reports deemed embarrassing to the government. So can you imagine? So the press then did not have a free. Well, you can argue they still don't have a free will, but the press then um, only had to say things that were in favor of the government at the time. So if the government is not happy, with what the press has written. They criminalize that press officer. That press officer now gets, you know what? They get imprisoned. They get beaten in many cases. So you must only write good things. So how can we have that kind of government, right? There was also economic hardship, something a lot of people now can relate to, especially between the years of 2015 and 2023, where there was a lot of hardship. There was hardship then too because there were strict import controls that led to shortages and inflation. Now, let's continue. In 1985, August 1985, he was overthrown. Remember, I said he came in from a coup. He himself, he himself was now overthrown in another coup by General Ibrahim Babangida, who I believe, if I remember, was his chief of army staff then. Now, after years in obscurity, we didn't hear anything about Buhari for a very long time. He returned as the chairman of the Petroleum Trust Fund, PTF, under General Sani Abacha in the 90s. So General Sani Abacha was Nigeria's military head of state from 1993 to 1998. So within the 90s, General Buhari came back to prominence as the chairman of the PTF. The PTF stands for the Petroleum Trust Fund, and he entered democratic politics in 2003. This is Buhari. Back to Buhari now, running for president under the ANPP. So the ANPP stands for All Nigeria People's Party. So Buhari ran, he also ran in 2003, like I said, 2007, 2011. Each time Buhari lost that election, each time Buhari was alleging electoral fraud. That, oh, there was electoral fraud. That's why he didn't win. Okay, fast forward to 2015, right? He won in 2015 under the All Progressive Congress, that's the APC, defeated the incumbent Goodluck Jonathan, and he got re-elected in 2019. A lot went into that. So many people, so many active actors in today's politics, including President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, were instrumental to the forming of APC. So they got some people from PDP, they got them some people from PDP, and they got some people from AMPP and some people from CPC, and they formed sort of like a coalition called the APC. And Buhari was the person who was deemed worthy enough to win the the primaries. So they supported him with money, they supported him with connections, they supported him with a lot of things. And Buhari won that election. He won in 2015, but he won on a campaign to come and change the country. He came on change. He came, they had this broom that they're moving around there, and they're like, oh, change, change, APC change. And people were like, ah, Buhari, do you remember him from 1985? They had romanticized Buhari from 1985 and said, this guy is going to come in and Nigeria is going to be a lot better. People were shocked. People were shocked. It was economic hardship after economic hardship after economic hardship. Prices of goods went up. Fuel prices went up. The dollar from 160 went to record numbers. Although it's still going up now, but Buhari's time we saw like the mark jump. Right? He did achieve some things. There was a anti-corruption drive, the high-profile arrests and asset recoveries to an extent. I think he did well with railways, especially when it comes to the national railways. There were national railways that were there, and you know they 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 are still active, till today. Do you understand? So like if you go into Abuja now, I believe you can take a train from the airport to the city center. We don't even have that in Lagos. That happened under his administration. You can argue that the work for that was done before, right? Which is true. but he was able to, or his administration, or the person who is Minister of Transport, made that happen. He also tried to reduce food imports, right? And because he's a farmer by by his side gig, so it was like, okay, Nigeria needs to feed itself. Nigeria, kept on talking about that. They were security failures, massive security failures. The Boko Haram insurgency, banditry, headsmen, farmer headmen conflict, they worsened under his administration. As I mentioned earlier, there was recession, heavy recession, and inflation during his time, and rising unemployment. There were also human rights concerns. Are you guys seeing the relation between what I said earlier and now? So a lot of things that happened in 1982, 83, sorry, 1983, 84, 85 also now happened again. But this time, where we're talking about Decree 4, which criminalized, the press from talking negatively about the government, we now had the crackdown on the protests. That's the NSAS protest. Don't forget the NSAS protest that happened a few years ago during COVID. There were also press freedom issues that happened again. So unemployment happened again. So almost as if the people are like, has this guy learnt anything? Has this guy learnt anything? Hmm? Has he learnt anything? Do you understand? Guys, come up, come up, come up. If you want to speak, come up. Yeah. Has he learnt anything? What has he learnt? What has he learnt? From being president, then, and then coming back. What has he learnt? It's not clear to me if he learnt much, right? May his soul rest in peace. May his soul rest in peace. But Nigerians are not happy. Nigerians are definitely not happy from what I'm seeing. And there are grounds for them not being happy because of what happened. Um, he also, and the reason why I went live is I wanted to talk about these frequent medical trips to London. I want to talk about it. Yeah, I want to talk about it. So why do so many dignitaries, yeah, why do they go to London? Yeah, for medical treatment. It's very simple. Yeah, for medical treatment. It's very simple. That's a minute, so I don't get sidetracked. So I talked about the health issues. So his presidency was marked by frequent medical trips to London. He went to London so many times. He spent months abroad in 2017 for an undisclosed illness. This is not the first time. We got that from Yar'Adua as well. Nigeria has a habit of having all these issues, and it's just shrouded in mystery. We just know that, okay, the guy is sick. What happened to him? They won't tell you, right? In 2017, he spent months abroad in London for an undisclosed illness, where the vice president at that time, Vice President Oshibajo, took helm of affairs. There were rumors. I think that's when people started talking about, not long after that is when the whole Jibrin situation came in. For those of you who don't know the Jibrin situation, people alleged that Buhari at some point was not the president, and he had a body double, a guy called Jibrin from Niger. I never believed that because I didn't get any evidence. Some people did some analysis. They say, look at his ear. His ear looks bigger and stuff. But you guys are forgetting that there was also a bomb blast attempt at his life where his ear was bleeding. So maybe there was an operation that was done on the ear that made the ear look different. But people did not believe it. People did not believe it. You understand? People did not believe it. They said no. They said no. We don't believe. We believe the body double stuff. So you argue with people. I don't want to argue with people whether it's true or not. Let's just leave that one. His health challenges also contributed to a perception of detachment. That was detached. He was also slow in his decision making. So all those things added to frustrations. I think it took him about 6 months before he could form his cabinet. So people were like, "You've been trying to be president for four times. This is the fifth time now. You've now been president, fifth time, and it's still taking you 6 months to form a cabinet. Didn't you know the people you wanted to use when you were campaigning?" Um, he died a couple of days ago in London, age 82, after a prolonged illness. May his soul rest in peace. He will be remembered as a polarizing figure. He was admired for his discipline, especially the very first time, and the anti-corruption stance. Although Emefiele was the CBN governor under him, and there was also a lot of massive corruption that happened. Even though he said he was coming to do corruption. And now back to the question I asked earlier. And please put your comments in there. Put your comments. I'd like to see your chats in there. On what you have to contribute to the conversation. Why do many African dignitaries, not just Nigerian presidents, but African dignitaries, why do they frequently travel to London and other foreign destinations, Germany, for medical treatment? It's to do with a combination of things, right? It's a combination of things, in my view. There are systemic reasons, there are political reasons, there are personal factors. So let's start with number one. There's a lack of confidence in local healthcare systems. Many African leaders don't trust the quality, the safety of healthcare in their own countries. Question is, why are they not funding public hospitals, from primary healthcare to tertiary healthcare? Why are they not funding them? Why are they not updating the equipment? Why are they not paying the doctors well, that the doctors have to now run to Canada, UK, US, Australia, Trinidad and Tobago, or wherever else to go and practice medicine? Why? Why? Do you understand? Why? Why? You tell me why. Why are they not doing it? Why do they prefer to always travel when they could allocate a budget and say, no, in my term, I will make sure we have a world class hospital, not just for my benefit, in every state? Because health is wealth. Health is wealth. That money, you're not going to take it with you. That money is not going with you. No matter how much you make in this world, you are not taking your money with you. You're going to leave that money here on earth. Do you know the time it would have taken them to move him from Katsina to Abuja, and then from Abuja to London, and then from Heathrow? They're also going to drive him to the hospital. I don't know what condition um it happened, because yes, I read that he was in London for a few months. But I'm saying that, think about it. If he had to if they had to drive him, or anybody else for that matter, it doesn't have to be a president. If that person had to be driven in an ambulance 20-30 minutes to a general hospital, and they're able to treat the person, is a better story than having to fly maybe 9-10 hours. Because like I said, it's not just about the flying time, it's the time it takes you from your house to the airport, the time you are in the airport waiting to board, security clearance, all of that, then the time in the plane, then the time when you get to where you're getting to, where the ambulance now takes you to the hospital, and the time to get you a bed in the hospital and to do the checks. That time is crucial for an elderly person, or somebody who is young and having health challenges. So making sure that you have good healthcare systems is key. And you can only get that by investment. So they're not investing. That's number one. The second reason is because London, just like Paris, just like Singapore, just like Dubai, just like Munich, just like Istanbul, they offer world class private hospitals, advanced diagnostics, and specialist care. And these facilities provide a level of discretion, comfort, and expertise that many leaders prefer, especially when it comes to chronic or complex conditions. Some people might even argue that the reason why they don't want to be in Nigeria is maybe the gist will leak. That's a point. That somebody, one doctor, one nurse, or the owner of the establishment will leak it to the press, and then the exact nature of their ailments will be leaked to Nigerians, which you will not get from abroad because they have strict confidentiality clauses when it comes to revealing patient data, which is now, you saw the Yadua situation. So now a lot of people don't know what happened to him because that's a classified information. So there's an argument, but that argument is not strong, in my opinion. It's not as strong as fixing the countries. You cannot fix the data issues when you fix the hospitals, but fix the hospitals. Fix the hospitals. Um, Medical tourism is also very, very popular among the elites. That culture, you know, in Nigeria alone, reportedly, citizens spend over $1 billion annually on outbound treatment. Outbound meaning they are leaving Nigeria to go abroad for medical treatment. Over 1 billion. Do you know what $1 billion will do for our healthcare? 1 billion. Leaders are justifying these trips as routine checkups, but these are not routine checkups. Let's be honest. These are for long-term recurring health issues. They are not going to London because they have a headache. They are not going to London because they have a cold. Like I mentioned, it allows dignitaries to avoid public scrutiny and media speculation at home. So they can control the narrative around their health, especially in politically sensitive times. They don't want it to leak. They know that when they go abroad, it's not going to leak. Um, I'm saying that for me, this behavior is hypocritical because they are the ones responsible for improving the healthcare systems they themselves avoid. So you are saying you don't want the media to know what is happening to you, and you have a right to your privacy. But your right to your privacy is that more important than improving the healthcare systems that Nigerians should be using? So I mean, for me, it undermines public trust, especially if taxpayer funds seem to be used to help some of these ailments, to solve some of these ailments, to cure some of these ailments. Um, and this money is going to foreign economies. This money is not being spent in Nigeria. Instead of investing in our local health infrastructure, we're giving that money to these foreign countries. Now, according to a 2021 report on universal health coverage, only 52% of Africans have access to the healthcare they need. The challenges include poorly maintained hospitals, inadequate training and supervision of staff, weak legal frameworks for malpractice, and chronic underinvestment. And this trend has impacted healthcare policy in Nigeria. If you go abroad, many of the top doctors are Nigerians. Many. It's not uncommon that somebody who is a dignitary in Nigeria left Nigeria to come to London, and the person who is interviewing him is fixing him is a Chibizo or an Emeka or a Tunde, right? Or an Abdullahi from Kano. That's the medical team. The same Nigerians. They had to leave. Now, this preference and this bad behavior and this culture of always traveling abroad by top officials, it has reduced the urgency to invest and to reform Nigeria's public health infrastructure. Because the thinking is if you have money, just go abroad. But is that solving the problem? Is that not worsening the problem? They go abroad, they fix them a little bit, they go back to Nigeria, they exacerbate the issue, they go abroad again, they come back, they go abroad again till the last day. It doesn't make sense. Leaders who do not rely on local hospitals have less incentive to improve them. What's the value add for them? Which leads to chronic underfunding, outdated equipment, and poor service delivery. Many of these medical trips are funded by public money. Many. That creates a two-tier system, one for the elites abroad and one for the general population under-resourced at home. Now, because top decision makers bypass the local system, healthcare reform is often deprioritized in national policy agendas. Why are they going to push for it when they have the money to fly? They're not going to push for it. There's no incentive. I, if they're going to even push for it, when the thing even my own is that you even push for it, even though you're not going to use it, push for it. Let other people benefit. It's a focus on short-term fixes or political optics. The systemic issues are workforce shortages, equipment failures, and access gaps, while government is focusing on short-term fixes and optics. The people are not, they've lost faith in the system. The governed have lost faith. The governing have also lost faith. And that just erodes trust in our public institutions across board. It demoralizes the local healthcare workers. They feel undervalued. Why do you think a lot of them are trying to jackpot in or leaving? Now, you thought that COVID, which halted medical tourism, remember nobody could fly? COVID was an opportunity. Many elites were forced to use local hospitals because they couldn't fly. But what happened? COVID has finished. What has happened? Have they fixed it? Are they not back flying? Hmm? Are they not back flying? A study conducted in Cross River and Akwa Ibom states found a statistically significant relationship between the preference for foreign medical care by elites, the availability of standardized facilities abroad, and the decline in the quality of Nigeria's healthcare delivery system. That study recommended abolishing government sponsorship of overseas medical treatment for public officials to redirect funds into domestic healthcare development. Stop paying for their medical facilities abroad. Force them to use the one at home. Then they'll be forced inward to fix our hospitals. This is the second president now that died in London. I think Yar'Adua was Germany. God rest his soul. How many presidents have to die abroad? How many people have to die abroad? There are regular people also die. Uh, Regular people. Oh, it's not just it's not just Nigeria. Oh. It's not. There are regular people. It's not just elites. There are regular people who are also going abroad because their thinking is if if our president, if it's not good enough for our president, it's not good for enough for me. Even if they have the money, they're going to go. They're going to go. So it's very, very disappointing. Just a few things I just wanted to add to the conversation. Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to follow me on TikTok. I will be doing another live shortly. Probably another topic. Uh, as I said, people do have a right to be upset. He did do some good things. Not all was doom and gloom. May his soul rest in peace. We'll all have our final day. And may history be kind to us. Thanks for joining me on my live, and I'll see you in the next one.